back to my video. And this video is what is in the Crypt of Winterfell. So, a little while back, I did a video on an ice dragon a long time ago. Now, I'm not going to, now obviously if I'm telling you right off the bat that ice dragon is what I did a video of, obviously I'm telling you that what's inside the Crypt of Winterfell has something to do with ice dragon. I always believe that the ice dragon has to be a real thing in this world because I just don't see how the others are a threat if they are only allowed to come straight down from the wall. Now, I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that they've taken over the whole country because it doesn't say that Azor Ahai was fighting the others at the wall. It just said he fought the others. Azor Ahai could have fought the others in Bravos or somewhere else over there and defeated them there. I'm sure that it wasn't just one attack coming down. I'm sure they spread out and they had different attacks here, attack there, attack there. That's what it usually. So maybe he took them out there and they were taken out somewhere else, and the wall around that area was the last stand, and that's why. And that's where they finally did the last pushback of the others and got them out of there and sent them back to where they came from. If that is what the wall is really meant to be, which I am not convinced that the wall is there to keep the others out. Because I don't understand why the giants would build a wall to keep out the others and then stay on that side of the wall where the others are. It just don't make no sense to me. You know what I mean? So, and the children of the forest. It just does not make any sense. All right. So, as I said before, in order to ride an ice dragon, I think you need three things, and I think the ice dragon is a very viable piece of weaponry in this world of ice and fire. So you need three things to ride this ice dragon, from what I've read from the other books, the ice dragon story, and it means number one, you have to be able to take the cold. Number two, you must have targ blood. And number three, you must have warging abilities. All right, now I'm going to tell you that Adrena, the girl that's in that, has all three of these things. And we can see this. Number one, targ blood. In the story, you see that her uncle is a dragon rider. And at the time, as he's a dragon rider, he's in war at that time when this is going on. All right. Now, we know. Let me break it down. I know people always want to say, you don't gotta be a Targaryen to ride a dragon. Let me break it down to you the way I see it, all right? A Targaryen is just a family name, right? Valyrian is their blood, is their race, right? So if I'm Tony Teflon, but I'm black, all right? So Targaryens are Valyrian, all right? Now, the reason why I say Targ blood is because the dragons that were all supposed to be left after the doom, or that were supposedly known to be left, all right? Now, I know there's supposed to be some in the Shadowlands, but the ones that we know about were Targaryen dragon eggs. So I assume, and I say that it would be easier for a Targ to get in control of these dragons if these are their dragons. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it's not saying that if you met a pure Valyrian, of course you could ride a dragon. But we don't really see any pure Valyrians. Only pure Valyrians we really see is Targaryens. So that's why I say you need Targaryen blood to ride the dragon. All right? That is my reasoning behind that. So since her uncle is a dragon rider, at the time this goes on, and he's in war at the time where there's dragons on both sides. So I don't know exactly when this war is taking place. Look at when the dragons were fighting each other. It's either the Blackfire. I don't think it was the dance. But you gotta look at the time. I don't know exactly. It's hard for me to pinpoint it that when the two dragons were fighting each other. And anyway, George may not have even written that, that drag. Could be before that. I'm not sure. But the bottom line is that her uncle was in a fight right now versus other fire dragons. He comes down there. All right, let's go back that. So since that's her uncle, I'm going to assume that she has Targaryen, Valyrian blood inside of her at this particular time. All right? Take the cold. Now, obviously, we know from the story, from the beginning of the story, that she could take the cold. She's always cold. It said when her mother was birthing her, that it said that she could feel the cold inside of her womb. She never smiled. She never did anything. So she could take that. And I say warging abilities you need. All right. Now, when the fire dragons attack her uncle during the story, it says she mentally calls the ice dragon. The ice dragon comes, and then it takes her away. And then she asks the ice dragon to take her back to protect her family. The ice dragon comes back and it kills the other 7 dragons. Then it turns into the pool. After that, the coldness leaves her body and she's able to smile again. So I think when they're saying that she's mentally contacting the dragon, I think of Arya, a continent away, able to talk to her wolf and control her wolf and feel everything a wolf is feeling a continent away. So that has to be warging. So I believe that this chick had the ability to warg. She had Targ blood, and for some reason, not explained, she's able to take the cold. Now, that brings me to the whole situation here up north and what's going on right now. And I think the first way for me to describe this or how this is going on is, first, we must see that the Starks seem to be the people with the warging ability. All right. So if this thing is to take place and to come true, this ice dragon thing that I think is going to come true, first we have to see how this happens, right? Who is able to warg? And I say the Starks are able to warg. And you have to have a reason how they got their warging abilities. And this is how I believe the Starks got their warging abilities.
Chronicles found in the archives of the Night's Watch at the Night Fort, before it was abandoned, speak of the war for Sea Dragon Point, wherein the Starks brought down the Warg King and his inhuman allies, the Children of the Forest. When the Warg King's last redoubt fell, his sons were put to the sword, along with his beasts and green seers, whilst his daughters were taken as prizes by their conquerors.
All right, so right here we see the Starks themselves fighting off the Children of the Forest, who are unnatural, unhuman, and the Warg King, right? And then after they defeat the Warg King and kill him and kill all of his sons, the Starks take his daughters as brides. And I think from that right there is the reason why that the Starks are able to warg. And I think that is how they got their warging ability. Now we have to remember that the Starks were not always the kings of the north, and they did not fashion themselves as the kingdom. They like to call themselves the kings of winter. All right? And they had beef with one people. And those people were the people that House Dustin claims to be from, and those people were the Barrowmen.
More historical proof exists for the war between the kings of winter and the Barrow kings to their south, who style themselves the kings of the first men and claim supremacy over all first men everywhere, even the Starks themselves. Runic records suggest that their struggle, dubbed the Thousand Years' War by the singers, was actually a series of wars that lasted closer to 200 years than 1,000, ending when the last Barrow king bent his knee to the king of winter and gave him the hand of his daughter in marriage.
So we see here that the Barrowmen considered themselves the king of the first men and attacked the Starks, eventually were defeated, and then the Starks took their daughter as a prize too. Now, the reason why I say this about these Barrowmen and why they are important at this particular time is because of House Dustin. Now, House Dustin is said to derive from the Barrow Kings, and they're the ones who control the Barrow lands. Now, the Barrow lands supposedly hold the body of the first king underneath it, right? So the Dustins are in control of that. But the Dustins don't get along with the Starks, as we see with Ned and Lady Dustin. And this is the reason why I must bring in House Dustin, because you must realize, you say, why are you bringing up House Dustin at this time?
The rusted crown upon the arms of House Dustin derives from their claim that they are themselves descended from the first king and the Barrow kings who ruled after him. The old tales recorded in Kennet's Passages of the Dead claim that a curse was placed on the Great Barrow that would allow no living man to rival the first king. This curse made these pretenders to the title grow corpse-like in their appearance as it sucked away their vitality and life. This is no more than legend, to be sure, but that the Dustins share blood and descent from the Barrow kings of old seems sure enough.
Alright, so right here we hear that the Barrow King was basically turned to a corpse, right? Because he thought he was too big for his britches. And it says no living man specifically, right, will be up over the king. And that the Barrowtons were made to look like corpses after this thing, right? Now, we hear this description given again for other people. Now, you got to remember that the maester at this time is saying this. He's giving you what he thinks. He's saying they look like corpses, right? So, let's take it from there, right, to see exactly what has the exact same description of what he just gave.
Yet over the thousands of years of its existence as the chief seat of the Watch, the Night Fort has accrued many legends of its own, some of which have been recounted in Archmaester Harmoon's Watchers on the Wall. The oldest of these tales concern the legendary Night's King, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, who was alleged to have bedded a sorceress pale as a corpse and declared himself a king. For 13 years, the Night's King and his corpse queen ruled together before King of Winter, Brandon the Breaker, in alliance, it is said, with the king beyond the wall, Jon.
Now, once again, here we go. We have the Night's King, right? Who we believe is a Stark. I think is a Stark. I told you before which Stark I thought it was. Cold Eyes, who is known for sacrificing people to the werewood, marries this woman. Who is the other? But we know is the other. Described by the Maester as a corpse. Right? So, if that is the case, then we have to take it that the other people that he's describing as a corpse are the others too. That's the way I have to look at it. I will play it one more time. I didn't get through it. I know I said I'd stop rewinding it. But I will play it one last time here.
Yet over the thousands of years of its existence as the chief seat of the Watch, the Night Fort has accrued many legends of its own, some of which have been recounted in Archmaester Harmoon's Watchers on the Wall. The oldest of these tales concern the legendary Night's King, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, who was alleged to have bedded a sorceress pale as a corpse and declared himself a king. For 13 years, the Night's King and his corpse queen ruled together before King of Winter, Brandon the Breaker, in alliance, it is said, with the king beyond the wall, Joramun, brought them down. Thereafter he obliterated the Night's King's very name from memory. In the Citadel, the Archmaesters largely dismissed these tales, though some allow there may have been a Lord Commander who attempted to carve out a kingdom for himself in the earliest days of the Watch. Some suggest that perhaps the Corpse Queen was a woman of the Barrowlands, a daughter of the Barrow King, who was then a power in his own right.
Right there we have the Corpse Queen saying it could have been someone from the Barrowlands. The Barrowlands. So is they saying that the people from the Barrowlands are the others, are related to the others, have something to do with the others. It's described the same way. All right? So, Now, let me give you to what that is my philosophy behind it. Now, let me tell you to what I believe is actually inside the Crypts of Winterfell. Now, obviously, after I've said all that, we are here. I'm looking for some type of dragons, right? You think there'd be a dragon, and now there's some rumors that there were dragons underneath the Crypts of Winterfell and everything else. But what I have to say about it is this: I would have to go that it would have no choice if I have to pick. Is Jon, who could fit all three Ice Dragon Riders thing? It's only Jon Snow. Number one, take the cold. Can Jon take the cold? When he gets stabbed, he feels nothing but cold. He does not feel the pain or anything in his body from being stabbed. All he feels is cold. Number two, he gets moved from there to the freezer room where he's even be more cold and body can be chilled more. Now also remember, when the girl does ride the dragon goes away, the coldness leaves her body and she becomes regular. So do not think that Jon cannot be this guy. Number one. Two, does he have Targ blood in him so he could ride the dragon? Well, there was a reason why Lyanna had to take the how Lyanna has to take Rhaegar married Lyanna. All right, there's a reason, and I told you before there was a reason why Rhaegar wanted to marry her, and the reason I see is that he knows that there's another three heads to the dragon, and they need to be able to ride that dragon. You need that Targ blood. Warging ability, obviously we've seen Jon warg, so we know he doesn't know he has the ability, but we know he has the ability. So all three things, take the cold, Targaryen blood, and the warging abilities, what I think you need to ride the ice dragon, Jon has it. Now, that leads me to, where would Jon find this ice dragon if it's there? We don't know where it would be, but I think I got it right here, exactly where.
And we can dismiss Mushroom's claim in his testimony that the dragon Vermax left a clutch of eggs somewhere in the depths of Winterfell's crypts, where the waters of the hot springs run close to the walls, while his rider treated with Cragen Stark at the start of the Dance of the Dragons. As Archmaester Gildane notes in his fragmentary history, there is no record that Vermax ever laid so much as a single egg, suggesting the dragon was male. The belief that dragons could change sex at need is erroneous, according to Maester Anson's truth, rooted in a misunderstanding of the esoteric metaphor that Bath preferred when discussing the higher mysteries.
So right here, we see that before the Dance of the Dragons, it is legendary told that Vermax was up there with his rider, and they were meeting with Cragen Stark, and that this dragon laid a clutch of eggs in the Crypts of Winterfell. Now, this is given to you by Mushroom, who they say Mushroom is a fool and not to believe anything he says. But we know that Mushroom is actually the one who tells the truth about everything, and he's telling you that Vermax left a clutch. Now, a clutch of dragon eggs in there. Now, it is supposedly said that if a dragon, an ice dragon, is raised and it's already cold out, that it needs cold to grow. And the more colder is out, the bigger the dragon can grow. So if the time comes and the night that never ends and comes out there, it's possible that it'll be that cold, and that is all that is needed for that dragon to get as big as it would need to get to fight that quick. So that's how it would be raised so fast. So that is my video on what I think is in the Crypts of Winterfell. I think it's a good chance that there are dragon eggs down in the Crypts of Winterfell, and I think it's possible that at least maybe one of them is left, and Jon's gonna find it down there and be able to hatch it somehow, or it gets hatched. I don't know the answers to that. I'm just giving you the facts that I got. I think there's a dragon egg down there. I think Jon is the man to ride it. I think if there is an ice dragon in the story, Jon is the only one that is suited to ride the ice dragon. He's the only one who has all three things. And the Barrowtown Knights King, Knights Queen thing, it's pretty obvious to me. So, I hope that you have liked this video. I know I got off a little bit here and there talking about different things, but I hope you like it. And if you do, please thumbs up it. Please subscribe and tell your friends and share it around the world. And let everyone get a look at this. And if you have any comments, please put them down below. And I'll definitely try to go through them and answer as many as I can. Alright? So, peace. Stay sexy. But until you do that, you know who it is. It's the Don Chip, Tony Teflon, House Teflon. And we're live, baby. Teflon TV. Peace. Stay sexy.